Good morning to you all and welcome to day 2 of our celebration events. I'm Jenny, Involvement Manager, and I will be your presenter for today's lineup. If you were able to join us yesterday, I'm sure you will agree what an amazing start to the week we had. We heard from Mike Brooks, our co-chair, with his analogy of PPIE, which he details as "Please participate, it's exciting." And it just simply sums his passion and enthusiasm for involvement. So thank you, Mike, for your message of inspiration yesterday. Today's celebrations will focus on our second priority, working together and co-production, and we'll start off with an audio recording from myself talking about the 4PI National Involvement Standards Framework, which is, for involvement, our golden thread. The 4PI National Involvement Standards, defining involvement and what it means in practice. The lived experience of our patients, service users, carers and families is vital to the success of the Trust. This means empowering and involving service users, carers and families in decision making about their care and support and in developing, planning and monitoring of services. Everyone has the right to be involved in planning and making decisions about their health and care. That includes, where appropriate, their family and carers. The quality of services together with listening and responding to feedback are both key areas for the Trust. Involvement and experience are complementary and go hand in hand, each supporting the other towards service improvement. The heart of our success is the involvement of service users, carers, their families and the community to give them the best experience of care possible. It is enshrined in the NHS Constitution and has become a key indicator of NHS performance nationally. We know that a positive experience during care leads to positive clinical outcomes. If people feel listened to and involved in their care, they will respond better to medical, nursing and therapy interventions and also be better able to manage their own journey of care. So, how do we do this? As a Trust, we have adopted the 4PI National Involvement Standards Framework to drive forward our involvement agenda. The 4PI framework is a simple yet robust framework around which to base standards for good practice, to measure, monitor and evaluate involvement and to make the best of working together, which should improve outcomes for all. We promote parity of esteem across our mental and physical health services. We will support staff to ensure we are all committed to supporting involvement initiatives through a programme of activities. So what does the 4PI really stand for? Involvement starts with a foundation of shared principles and values. The core purpose of user and carer involvement must be to improve people's lives, to improve health services and how each of us experience those services if and when we need them. A diversity of service users and carers should be involved at all levels and stages of an activity. The involvement process needs to be carefully thought through in order to ensure that service users and carers can make the best possible contribution. The end result should have outcomes. What difference has it made? Most importantly, what is the impact? All involvement needs to have that core purpose in mind at all times and the impact as a result. This means that involvement is not only reactive, based upon the feedback that people who use our services provide, but also proactively, involving people in planning, commissioning and governance to maximise outcomes. The involvement team are here to provide advice, guidance and support for all staff to ensure that these standards are the basis for how we do things around here. Next, I'd like to hand over to Samantha from the Personalisation and Social Inclusion Services and the videos which follow to highlight the importance of social connections.
Welcome to the Personalisation and Social Inclusion team.
Our team is part of the social care pathway within adult mental health services. We put the people we support at the centre of all we do. We offer individuals support to build on their strengths, build their resilience and skills and develop their interests. We can help individuals to make the best use of their social networks and local community. The eligibility and criteria for a referral to the PSI team. The PSI team work with individuals aged between 18 and 64. However, information, advice and guidance can be provided for those aged over 65. An individual's social care needs must arise from a mental health condition. Social care needs can include managing the home environment, accessing the local community, such as using public transport, accessing groups and activities, accessing and engaging in work, training, education or volunteering, and identifying if someone is carrying out caring responsibilities for another adult or child. These social care needs have been identified and the PSI team can provide short-term goal setting to empower service users to self-manage these needs. These needs significantly impact on the individual's well-being, and an individual must be willing to engage in short-term work from 1 to 18 weeks. The service user must live in and pay council tax to the following geographical areas across Staffordshire. What do the PSI team offer? In accordance with the Care Act 2014, we will complete a strengths-based assessment with the individual, exploring their social care needs as discussed on the previous slide. With our guidance, the service user will create a personal development plan and set SMART goals which will be reviewed and updated regularly. The service user will be supported by a member of the team to achieve their personal aims and aspirations. The team encourage service users to take control of their mental and physical well-being through increasing their knowledge, confidence and independence. We can provide the service user with information, advice and guidance, assist them in navigating social care, health and other support services, and empower them to connect and reconnect and maintain connections within their local community. We also run a Facebook page at PSI MPFT where we regularly upload community information. Here is a case study demonstrating the work that PSI have completed. The PSI team completed a strengths-based assessment with a young gentleman in his early 20s who lived with his mother and younger brother. The gentleman had a diagnosis of autism and experienced anxiety and depression. He had previously been supported by the Child and Adolescent Mental Health Service and the Community Interventions Pathway. A referral came to the PSI team from the Community Interventions Pathway to request support with supporting the gentleman to access the local community as he had only left the home with family and did not have a social network. He had set a goal to lose weight, showing motivation and commitment, and spent much of his time at home watching box sets and gaming. However, this showed he had good computer skills. The referral identified that the gentleman would like to attend a local gym to improve his health and well-being. This is an example of the PSI team harnessing community capacity through using a strength-based assessment. So what were the outcomes of this gentleman's work with the PSI team? One outcome was he was given the task to research a gym within walking distance. We produced structured goals to enable him to complete graded exposure work for him to be able to walk to the gym independently. The gentleman explored the possibility of also attending a Prince's Trust course, and through graded exposure work, this enabled him to access the train to attend, and he went on to attend a residential visit to Wales, where his peers discovered his talent for football. He subsequently signed up to a further course with the Prince's Trust and obtained a volunteering work placement. and also booked on to complete his driving theory and undertook lessons once discharged from the PSI team. Here are some further examples of what the PSI team offer.
Whether you've got a dog of your own, or you're interested in perhaps rehoming a dog, or struggling with dog walking needs, many people have been helped through PSI to reconnect with different opportunities which help them to get closer to animals and improve their social skills and confidence.
The PSI team enables service users to connect and reconnect with hobbies and interests, and we also link in with rural projects that provide a variety of opportunities such as working towards volunteering, employment and developing skills and personal goals, for example in animal care or horticulture. How have the PSI team stayed connected during the COVID-19 pandemic? This presentation will demonstrate the hard work and achievements of the PSI team throughout the current pandemic. All of the achievements and new ways of working will be continuing into the future, and we hope the new digital initiatives we have learned and that have been discussed can be used when working out and about in the community. What were our aims and objectives for staff at the beginning of and throughout the pandemic? We wanted to provide up-to-date government and trust guidance surrounding COVID-19 to service users and staff. We have utilised the new digital ways of working, like Microsoft Teams and One Consultation, and we have ensured that information for service users is easily accessible, like sending it out via email or in the post. We have all access training that is available to broaden our skills and knowledge. We have facilitated our well-connected workshop virtually. We have stayed connected with work colleagues to boost staff morale, to minimise feelings of social isolation when working from home. And we have ensured that the practical basic needs of service users who are shielding are met, such as being able to access medication and shopping. These are the aims and objectives for our service users. We wanted to enable service users to make connections in their local community. We wanted them to identify at least one SMART goal which supported them to access the local community. We support them to identify skills, strategies and knowledge to help them to achieve their goals. And we wanted them to continue having regular contact with the PSI team to review the level of support that they feel they require. And they have all worked with the PSI team to explore creative ways in which they can reduce their social isolation. Our achievements. The PSI team now have a Microsoft Teams virtual huddle board and have weekly huddle meetings to keep the team updated on changes and developments around trust guidance and also new projects. We have been successful in completing one consultation appointments and positive feedback has been received following from these. All team members have come together to produce community resource documents for SharePoint. The PSI team have acted as a link for many professionals, like social workers and professionals from other pathways. We have provided information to support, and without this professionals wouldn't have been able to access this and support individuals. Some members of the team are now digital champions and have attended regular meetings to discuss new digital initiatives. A list has been produced on charities and organisations who can provide support with white goods. Our well-connected workshop has been run virtually for those living in Lichfield, Birkwood and Tamworth, and there are some more plans for the future. And 2 self-isolation packs have been produced, have been received positively by all and have been distributed across Staffordshire and have been extremely successful. Here is a short YouTube video that we have found demonstrating the importance of social connections.
If you talk to someone that has recently moved, started a new job, or retired, and ask them what they miss most about their past situation, One of the most common answers is that they miss the people that were in their life. What that actually means is that they miss the social connections or relationships that they had with those people. Social connections or social interactions with other individuals is crucial to mental health, which in turn is crucial to overall health. The lack of social connections has shown to increase stress hormones, weaken the immune system, and lessen cardiovascular functions. People who are lonely tend to consume more alcohol, exercise less, have less quality sleep, and fatigue easily. Social relationships allow you to share your achievements and have support when times are tough. Imagine achieving a long-term goal you had. What's the first thing you want to do? Tell someone, of course. Or imagine if something terrible happens. Not having someone to lean on and talk to can make that event linger and make you feel even more isolated. Giving support in relationships can actually be more beneficial than receiving support. When someone shares something positive in their life with you, it's a compliment. They wanted you to be a part of their success, and they know that you have a sincere interest in their life. And when someone shares a tragedy in their life, you know they really trust you, and they're looking to you to help them through this difficult time. Now, some social relationships can be bad. A person that is constantly negative and has a poor outlook can bring you down and cause stress, making that relationship toxic. Someone that always talks about themselves and makes all of your interactions about them, well, that's not really a social connection. In that case, you're just an audience member in their one-person show on how wonderful their life is. Poor marital or poor relationship quality can also weaken the immune system and erode physical health. Dealing with stress from a poor relationship can lead to over-consuming food or alcohol, smoking, or taking medications to deal with the stress, which in turn can damage systems in the body. Connections through social media can be beneficial by allowing you to stay in touch with friends and family. However, social media connections are not a good alternative for face-to-face, in-person contact, and too much time spent on social media can lead to more isolation and a greater feeling of loneliness. It's a good practice to use social media in moderation. To be healthy, we need people in our lives. It doesn't need to be 5,000 Facebook friends, and we don't have to have everyone like us. Having strong social relationships with just a few people is fine. A few people that we can share life's good and bad moments with, a few people that we can connect with on a regular basis with no stress and no judgments. A few people who accept us for who we are. Surround yourself with good people, folks. Good people.
These are the 5 ways to well-being. The PSI team run a well-connected workshop which is based on these principles. These were developed by the New Economics Foundation. Connect. There is strong evidence that indicates that feeling close to and valued by other people is a fundamental human need and one that contributes to functioning well in the world. It is clear that social relationships are critical for promoting well-being and for acting as a buffer against mental ill health for people of all ages. Be active. Regular physical activity is associated with lower rates of depression and anxiety across all age groups. Exercise is essential for slowing age-related cognitive decline and for promoting well-being. It does not have to be high-impact or intense exercise. Slower paced activities such as walking can have the benefit of encouraging social interactions as well as proving some level of exercise. Take notice. Remind yourself to take notice can strengthen and broaden awareness. Studies have shown that being aware of what is taking place in the present directly enhances your well-being, and savouring the moment can help to reaffirm your life priorities. Learn. Continued learning through life can enhance self-esteem and encourages social interactions and a more active life. The practice of setting goals, which is related to adult learning in particular, has been strongly associated with higher levels of well-being. And finally, give. Participation in social and community life has attracted a lot of attention in the field of well-being research. Individuals who report a greater interest in helping others are more likely to rate themselves as happy. Committing to an act of kindness once a week over a 6-week period is associated with an increase in well-being. Here are some examples of how PSI have accessed the local community to support mental and physical well-being. We have provided information and refer people to access dial-up groups and befriending. We have supported people to access online training courses in volunteering, and we have supported people to volunteer for local COVID support groups and food banks. We have supported people to access and use online exercise classes to promote and improve their physical health. We have provided information on mindfulness activities online, and information has been provided on online free training courses from colleges like South Staffordshire. The PSI team empower individuals to set SMART goals. SMART goals are goals which are specific, measurable, achievable, realistic and timely. We explore what people feel they may need to enable them to achieve their goals. Some examples are information on groups, activities and courses that interest them, using online systems like Okra, graded exposure work to develop their skills, look at support that is available online, short-term intervention to build their confidence and self-esteem, attending the Well-Connected workshop, self-help such as anxiety management, relaxation CDs, apps and assistive technology, and one consultation appointments with staff members. People feel the team have opened up doors for them. There was care and understanding of their situation, and professionals have mentioned it has made them think about their future work in practice, looking at a person holistically. Here is some further feedback from service users. As part of our Well-Connected workshop, we used a survey link as a way of collecting feedback from the Well-Connected course. We also use polls in the Microsoft Teams chat function, and this is some of the feedback that we have received. Some individuals who have attended the workshop once have asked to attend again as they enjoyed it so much. If you have any questions or queries, please feel free to email any of us and we will try and help you as best we can. Thank you for listening, stay safe and stay positive.
Thank you, Samantha. We will now hear from Fiona Moore, Head of Involvement and Experience, who will be talking about the introduction to involvement training.
Introduction to Involvement training is available to staff, service users and carers through the Wellbeing and Recovery College. On the course, we look at the practical aspects of participating and the types of things that service users and carers can be involved in. The course is also for staff who want to know more about involving service users and carers and how involvement can support the teams to do this. You can book onto this training via the Wellbeing and Recovery College.
Thank you to Fiona. We'd now like to share a video by Tony Burkett and Cassy, who will talk about the Service User Representative and Volunteer Programme for Inclusion Services Isle of Wight.
Hello and welcome. I'm Tony Burkett. I'm the Volunteer Coordinator and the Service User Rep Leader in Inclusion Isle of Wight. I'm joined by Cassy, who is one of our Tier 3 volunteer recovery workers. Hello, Cassy.
Hello, Tony.
How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Good stuff. Thank you for taking some time out of your day to help us with this today. It's really appreciated. So you've been doing volunteering with us for quite a while now, haven't you?
Yes. Well, I started my recovery with Iris and then Inclusion, and Inclusion I've been with since they came. Volunteering with Inclusion since they started here, yes.
Okay. So on that note, could you just sort of say what the transition from Iris to Inclusion was like? Because you were here for that transition period. Do you feel there's been any benefits since inclusion have taken over?
Oh yes, a hell of a lot of improvement. Yes, well, there wasn't any volunteer program as such. We were just all, wasn't going to say winging it, but we didn't have training before, and now since inclusion have come, I think there's a lot more confidence. Well, for me anyway, there's a lot more confidence in knowing what I'm doing, how I'm meant to do things, confidentiality. All the boundaries, all the training that we've had, taking groups, and lots of other training has just been amazing, and the support and the supervision, and which we never had before. So it has improved hugely, yes.
Oh,
and it seems much more of a team happy atmosphere now, of everybody working together on all different levels, which is brilliant.
Fantastic.
Unity.
Yeah, very much so. Absolutely. So, and how do you feel that has impacted our service user with those positive changes you're talking about?
Well, I personally have had a lot of reports back from service users, and they think it's absolutely amazing, the new changes and the support and the sort of recovery, I think you call it capital, that they get, and the being around other people in recovery with the groups, and especially with the hanging out in the reception bit that's been produced there now, and the garden. And since lockdown, I've heard a lot of people have really missed the interaction with people and people in recovery at inclusion.
Yes, yeah, I think it's certainly been difficult times for all of us, hasn't it, through this period? And I know you've still been involved with stuff while we've been in, lockdown and things. What is it you've been mainly involved with?
I've been mainly involved with the online women's group RAW, and introducing people into the fellowship of AA and DAA, which we've been having online all throughout lockdown.
Oh, okay, so that mutual aid and stuff like that.
Mutual aid, yes.
Oh,
which has been a lifesaver, really, with all the online meetings, and now they're coming back. So it has been, in the absence of inclusion groups, it has been a real lifesaver to people.
Oh, that's really nice to hear, because people do need that support, don't they, from their peers and things like that. So I'm really, really pleased about that. So with regards to your volunteering career, what sort of have you been involved with that has left you feeling quite empowered within your role?
I just love taking the women's group, really, is what that's as far as I've gone. I was shadowing, I love shadowing people as well, and shadowing Kate, but unfortunately that's come to a little bit of a halt with lockdown as well, but that's all right. I still learn a lot from listening to her on the women's group and her input there, and helping vulnerable women and women that have been in abusive relationships and addiction, and I just find it very empowering to be able to, through my experience and learning, to be able to pass that on.
Certainly, yeah. And with regards to your future within your volunteering, what are your goals, Cassy?
Well, to carry on doing what I'm doing, and to hopefully do more shadowing and more training if I can. Yeah,
absolutely. That'd be fantastic. And hopefully move on to paid employment with us in the future.
Well, hopefully.
Yes, fantastic stuff. Cassy, I really, really appreciate you doing this for us. And I look forward to seeing where you go next on your journey.
Thanks very much, Tony.
Okay.
It's a pleasure being under your supervision.
Thank you very much. You take care. Thank you, Cass.
You're welcome. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you to both Cassy and Tony for sharing with us. I'd like to now hand over to the Discharge to Assess team and also the therapy team to share their positive news story.
Hi, my name's Carl Evelyns. I was a patient at the Haywood Hospital.
Hi, I'm Meg. I'm one of the physios in the D2A Assess area.
Hi, I'm Dawn. I'm a rehab tech in the D2A therapy team at the Haywood.
So when I first met Carl, he'd recently come across from the acute hospital. As a post-COVID patient that had spent quite a significant amount of time on intensive care. I was flicking for your notes, and you'd recently, because you'd had a lot of support on intensive care, you'd recently had your tracheostomy out within 24 hours of coming to us. And flicking for your notes, it was very evident that for your age, you were quite deconditioned from the COVID and a long stay in hospital. And there was quite a lot going on. So from our point of view, I went up over to introduce myself, and it was very clear from the word go you just wanted to get home.
Oh yes.
But on assessing you physically, there was quite profound general weakness, and that left lower limb had been affected by what we call a critical care myopathy, so a general neuro weakness from intensive care. So the first thing we did was aim for function. So it attempted to get you up with various walking aids, so relator frame, crutches, bits and pieces, and they were all a little bit too advanced for the stage we were at, weren't they? So it wouldn't have been safe to go home like that. So we tried with something called a turner, which is something you pull up towards, and it gives you you stand from the bed and it can turn you 90 degrees. So we worked on that, and you're perfectly safe on that, so we smashed it. And then it was a conversation with yourself around if you wanted to be at your age, go home on a turner, but obviously that was the main aim, get you home, so you wanted, get back to your wife. So lots of conversations with yourself and your wife. We rearranged your property, didn't we? So your bed was arranged downstairs, everything you needed could have been facilitated by you turning there with a turner. So that got all set up. We facilitated the equipment to get you home, and then we followed you out. And I think that helped increase your motivation and then give you this kind of drive to get your quality of life back.
It did. But obviously, I would really want to get home, and at the time, it was absolutely fantastic. It boosted my morale a hell of a lot when I got home, seeing obviously the family, because I've been there so long from them. Obviously, from my wife, I haven't been that, but never been away from my wife that long before, so it was absolutely fantastic. Obviously, when you guys first come out, you come into the house, just make sure the house was safe. Everything was there, what I needed, which was absolutely fantastic. I was also given a booklet as well when I first come home, telling me obviously different exercises, what I could do, obviously helping with my breathing as well, which was absolutely good. Everything I needed to know obviously was written in this booklet. Also, you guys come out once a week, and me and my wife always knew if we needed some help, we could contact you guys, and it was absolutely fantastic. Obviously, morale boosted so much each week, made me determined to obviously carry on and get my strength back in my leg and start walking properly. Obviously, the equipment what I had as well, obviously the turntable was absolutely fantastic piece of equipment. It helped me move from my bed to the settee if I needed to go to the toilet or anything like that. Obviously, I can use the turntable to get into the wheelchair. It was absolutely fantastic, and then we moved on to the walking frame. Obviously, it took a bit of a while to start walking again, but once we got there, obviously we moved on to the crutches. I don't think I spent too long. I think it was a couple of weeks on the crutches, to be fair. It wasn't long, was it, Dawn, to be fair? And then obviously we moved on to the walking sticks, and I only ended up using one walking stick. And after that, it was just my own motivation to try and get myself walking without a walking stick. But the equipment and you guys helping me to show me how to use the equipment was absolutely fantastic. Also, a handrail on the stairs has helped enormously. I can't say how much it has helped me from sleeping from downstairs if you're going upstairs in my own bed. It was absolutely fantastic. I use it all the time. I've still got it now at the moment. It's absolutely fantastic. I can't say anymore. It's a real praise to you guys.
But when I came in, you were really, really weak from the COVID. But each week, how you progressed, you grew in confidence, you grew in the progress. and then we set little goals from the chair-based exercises, to do them in standing, to walking with the frame, to getting off the patient turning, to walking into the kitchen, to doing the exercises at the kitchen side, and then going to the bathroom, and then the stairs. It just went from one week to the next. Each week, and we celebrated each week your progress, and now you grew in confidence.
It's fantastic.
Let's do this, let's do that. So at the end of it, coming to doing the stairs, let's do the stairs, Dawn, let's do this. And like you say, your wife was part of the team. She
helped a lot. Obviously, when you guys weren't there, she always motivated me every day to do the exercises, do this, do that. She's basically helped my morale as well, obviously seeing her all the time, but she helped with me development, and obviously you guys, when you come in, obviously you helped that to come in and tell her what to do, what we need to do, so we could set it out for the week on.
That's it, she became part of the team. But you're doing the exercises, and like I say, we celebrated every little progress, every little step, every little goal that we set into place. It was achieved within that week, which was absolutely brilliant about you being home, and that's the D2A.
If it wasn't being for home, I don't think I'd be in the position I was at the time. I think with you guys coming out and supporting me that way is absolutely fantastic.
And that was the thing about you being home, how you grew in the confidence and the progress, because on the wards we get that little window of that, and then they go home, where to see a patient in the home and doing it. And you say, and you basically say, can I do this next? Can I do that next? Is it safe for me to do this?
There's a lot of that one.
That was it. That's it. You're getting all the other people involved, and the district nurses, even your landlord.
Yes.
You know, it was just brilliant. But you were a dream patient.
Thank you. You were correct.
Thanks.
Great. Honestly.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for the team for sharing their story. It just shows the impact that working together has on our service users, carers and their families. Next, we will be hearing from Emily on Closing the Gap Network Study.
Hello, my name's Emily Peckham from the Closing the Gap Network, and I'm going to talk to you today about how we involved members of the public in our latest project, the Owls Project. We are a collaboration of people working to close the health gap that people with severe mental illness experience. Midlands Partnership Trust is one of the partner trusts that we're working with to help close this gap. So, the Owls Project is a project that we set up to explore how people with severe mental illness have experienced the pandemic restrictions, how they've been affected by them, whether they've been able to access health services, whether they've been digitally connected and able to access things online such as shopping, whether they feel their health has deteriorated or not. We're ringing people up and inviting them to take part over the phone. The people we're contacting are people who've taken part in our cohort study that ran from 2016 to March 2020. Some members of the Midlands Partnership Trust have taken part in this study. When we conceived the idea for this project, we contacted our lived experience panel to ask them what they thought about our idea and how we should progress with the project. We involved people at every stage of the project, from when we first conceived the idea to when we finalised the project and sent it off to the Research Ethics Committee for approval. When we first contacted the lived experience panel, we asked them what they thought we should be asking people about, what people were concerned about. And one of the biggest concerns was whether or not people had been able to access health services that they might need to access, including their GP or mental health trust or mental health services. We then went back and developed a questionnaire about how we might go about asking these questions. We then tested out the questions with our lived experience panel and asked them whether they were happy with the questions or whether any of them should be reworded. We invited more people to join the lived experience panel and to further test the questionnaire. Once we'd further refined the questions, we then carried out mock interviews with members of the lived experience group to see how they felt about the questions, whether there was anything we needed to change or amend. We also involved carers to find out their views, to see if they thought there was anything that we'd missed or should be included. This iterative process took place over a few weeks, and the whole project from conception to going live, i.e. having research ethics approval was about 2 to 2.5 months. The lived experience panel were really helpful during this time in helping us to shape the study. One of the important things that they pointed out to us was that they didn't really like the term lockdown, as it made people think about being in hospital or being incarcerated in some way. So we changed that to the pandemic restrictions, which is a term that people felt much more comfortable about. It was this kind of information and this kind of thoughts that people shared with us that were really valuable to help us develop the project and hopefully use a language that people felt comfortable with and not put people off. We also asked people about how we should be contacting people and ensuring that we didn't just only include people who were digitally connected who could take part in an online survey readily and easily. So in the end, we decided to contact people via telephone and ring people up and ask them whether they'd be interested in taking part, and then if they were interested, we'd ask them the questions over the phone. This has been working very well, and so far we've recruited 70 participants to take part in the study. We're aiming to recruit 300 people overall. So we're really grateful to the lived experience members and people who've helped us shape this project. So once the project is completed, we will write up the project with some suggestions about things that we may need to be thinking about in terms of helping people with severe mental illness. Thanks for listening and goodbye.
Thank you to Emily for sharing with us today. Next, I'd like to introduce Louise, who is one of our involvement facilitators, who will provide an insight where working together and co-production is simply at its best.
Hi, my name is Louise. I'm involvement facilitator for Children and Families Care Group and Specialist Care Group. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about a really exciting project that we're a part of at the moment, which is the Quality Awards for Public Involvement in Research project. So we had a launch event for this last week, which we held via Zoom. There was over 38 people involved, and over half of those were members of the public, whether that be service user, carer, or just somebody that's generally interested in research. So it was a really fantastic achievement to get everybody involved. So this project is a partnership between the University Hospital of North Midlands, Keele University, Expert Citizens, which is an independent group of people based in Stoke-on-Trent, who have all experienced multiple needs such as mental health challenges, addiction, offending behaviour and homelessness. And the Research and Innovation Department, along with ourselves, the involvement team within Midlands Partnership Foundation Trust. So the project partners and public contributors will work together to co-produce the new Insight Public Involvement Quality Awards. These awards will recognise and showcase how they involve members of the public in their research programmes. There are 2 existing programmes that will inform the development of the new Quality Awards. So the first existing programme is the Expert Citizens National Insights Award Scheme. This recognises how organisations involve those with lived experience to help improve services for people with multiple needs. And the second existing programme is the UK Standards for Public Involvement. These help improve the quality and consistency of public involvement in research. This is a really exciting opportunity for us to demonstrate how we put patient and public involvement at the forefront of research, as MPFT will be their pilot site for the awards. We are very much looking forward to working closely with the Research and Innovation Department at MPFT and looking to hopefully build on that relationship. These awards will recognise the trusts for their PPIE involvement in research, and we are proud to say that the awards will be co-developed with members of the public and patients, once again ensuring that research and its component parts are done with people rather than for the people. So we look forward to updating you on this project as we carry on. Thank you.
Thank you, Louise. Sadly, we've come to the end of today's celebration stories and videos. We hope you've enjoyed our day, and thank you so much to all of you who have contributed to our event. The videos we've shared with you today will continue to be available at the link provided, and it would be great if you could encourage people to join us for the rest of the week and share the link with people who haven't been able to attend. Helen Klitsch, Involvement Facilitator, will be your presenter for tomorrow with another day of superb display of service user and carer involvement. Thank you again for joining us today, and I hope you will be able to join us again tomorrow.